creating condition, creating environment to achieve what you're looking for to do. So if you look in the structure of the Earth atmosphere, some people never understood why we have nitrogen on the upper layer. Why? How come the heaviest gas in the, what do you call it, the structure of the hydrogen, and the rest is on the upper layer? Because it's created in the upper layer. It doesn't go from the bottom up, it goes from the top to bottom. You get the rain. The rain is not just the rain. Rain is to bring down the nitrogen which is created in the upper layer. People don't understand the whole concept of creation and life. In the new book called the new, what do you call it, the structure of the solar system, I explain this in detail. So you try to replicate the same. And then you understand why we have all the factors we have, why you have nitrogen in your amino acid. Understand the process of why the hydrogen, the oxygen, the carbon, and the nitrogen is the basis of life on this planet. I've explained that in the new book. Then you replicate it in your reactor. Then you don't need to look for a laser beam. You don't need to look for, what do you call it, different radioactive materials. As I always say, I thank the Belgian government and all the things they did to stop the foundation in putting us in the direction of where we are and doing things in a universal way. They brought us forward maybe about 10, 20 years, but it's to the benefit of mankind. You look what is happening in the micro, and then take one to another. You don't understand it, work with the other one. Why do you have nitrogen in the upper layers of the atmosphere? Why? What's the reason? Where does it come from? It's the heavier gas. It should be at the bottom on top of us, not on top of the planet. There is a reason, because it's created on the upper atmosphere. And in creating, it allows the same process as happens in your lung, in observing, or what do you call it, in releasing the energy from hydrogen. So you just need to create, your lung continuously creates a condition of a plasma. In your breathing, you continuously create plasma in your lungs. But we never been told. We always told we breathe oxygen and we breathe out oxygen. In the new paper which is coming out, and I gave a talk about it in brief in Bulgaria lectures, if the people have the videos to release it, I explain why nitrogen in the lung and how you release energy in your lung. You do the same process in your reactor. You don't need the X-ray. You don't need the nuclear material. You just copy your lung, you still come to the same process we are doing. And the lung is static in a way compared to, or go a step further, look at the operation of the limbs in your body. This is the same. The limbs and some of the, what we call glands in the body, do the same job. Exactly what nitrogen does in the upper atmosphere in a different way.
In the lung, Mr. Keshe, in the lung, oxygen separates to nitrogen and to atoms of hydrogen. And what caused that separation?
No,
is that...
no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
it doesn't. No, in the way I explained it in the book which is coming out, the function of the amino acids, what the amino acids are doing. In the lung is totally different process. In the lung, the oxygen through presence of nitrogen releases helium to hydrogen, and the oxygen becomes carbon, and a carbon links to free oxygens or the oxygen molecules which are in the lung, and it comes out as CO2. The rotation of the creation of the CO2 is done within the lung. I'm writing the paper. It's going to be released. What they say, oxygen crosses the wall of the lung. I don't agree with. Scientifically, I explain how. So the presence of nitrogen because it's 6% of what you breathe in is nitrogen. Nitrogen doesn't go in and come out nitrogen. Nitrogen goes within your lungs, again releases extreme ultraviolet. In that position, plays two games with forces the oxygen and ionizes the hydrogen to release energy equal to helium. So the energy crosses the wall into the blood, and the CO2, which is the carbon which is created from the release of the helium from oxygen, joins or links to two oxygen molecules, and it comes out as CO2. This is totally opposite to what we've been taught in the whole of medicine. They put me in prison as a lunatic, but scientifically we can show this. The same thing is you see it. This is a hypocrisy which sits in the world of biology, nothing to do with medicine. Look at what we say when you release energy. You see bright light in the sky. When you have blood going into your lungs, when it comes out, when the blood comes into the lung, it comes as darker color, and it goes out and it becomes brighter, and they call it the oxygenated. There is nothing, there is no truth into this, because what happens is literally the energy of the hydrogen, or the equivalent to a helium, is released across the wall of the lung into the wall of the blood. So the blood receives new energy. So what does it happen? It becomes much more active, it's brighter, it's got more energy. And this is exactly like when you have a switch in the house, the controller, the tuner. As you turn the current higher, the light becomes brighter. As you, what they call a dimmer switch, as you turn it up, you reduce the energy, it becomes darker or dimmer. So the same thing happens when your body. Oxygen energy of the helium, which comes from the ionization through the first nitrogen and the helium, and then the helium plays the same effect to create secondary ionization, releases energy which goes across the wall and energizes the cells which carry or are of the oxygen levels of the amino acid which go through. So does any oxygen crosses the wall of the lung? I don't think so, because I always explain, and they have made system to show actually oxygen goes across, because they build this system to confirm their way of thinking. They think it must be correct. But my question is very simple. A molecule of oxygen is huge. An atom of oxygen is huge compared to atom of a hydrogen and a carbon and a nitrogen. If oxygen crosses the wall of the lung and the vein to go into the blood system, what about the thinner one? What happens to the oxygen, hydrogen? Hydrogen should be flowing into the blood cell like nothing, because comparison to the size, comparison to the charge. So does actually any oxygen, which we've been taught from the beginning, crosses the lung into the blood? I don't think so. Scientifically, it doesn't make sense. As a physicist, it makes no sense, but they say there is a change in the pressure, blah, blah, all sorts of things which allows the oxygen to come and cross to go to other one. It doesn't make sense. Scientifically, when you have a nitrogen is an ionizer, allows through the fine tubes of the lung, creates a vacuum condition of the space. And in that vacuum condition, instantaneously releases by ionization, by the pressure, helium. You got left with through the extraction or the expansion of the lung, links up with the oxygen which is coming, it comes out as CO2. I've asked scientists in universities to start measuring the number of the carbons come out with the number of oxygen which you breathe in, and then allow the double O2 to, you will find out the number of carbons are exactly to the conversion rate of the oxygen to carbon in the lung using nitrogen. Nitrogen does exactly the same process in the lung. That's why you have a huge amount of proportion of nitrogen in the air, 65% to 16% of oxygen. And this is because the release through vacuum condition of lung allows a huge amount of energy and extreme ultraviolet to ionize the oxygen into helium into the energy levels of the oxygen, release of hydrogen. And then you understand that CO2, how it works. And then you find out the whole biology books has to be written, and they're not ready for it, because it's the same as when we said gravity, how it's created. When we open the Pandora box of the medical, which the books are getting written, I'm writing it as we go along, you'll find out the biology needs to be looked at a different way. And then when we start applying the same know-how in medical science, you see strange things, and they say he's a crook, he does this, he blah blah. No, because we understand the basis of creation, which is the interaction of materials. That's all it is. And very soon you will see documentary coming out from the foundation on the basis of the medical. It's one of the marvels of the foundation. I am proud to see this thing come out in the next 2-3 months. It's a paper following with a video of one of the conditions which is uncurable in the world of medicine. Governments are looking at it. World health authorities are looking at it in the background. What is the outcome of this thing? And all it is, there is no miracle. It's understanding the operation of hydrogen, the operation of nitrogen, on the condition of gravitational magnetic field of the Earth. That's why it led to the creation. Now we understand the process. Repeat the same thing in your reactor cores. You don't need radioactive material. I wasted 2-3 years battling with the Belgian authorities to hold on to my nuclear materials, but at the same time I try to understand the world, the way the planet works. And this planet works the same. Look to create a condition. A condition billions of years was created, which allowed nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen to come together and convert into a matter which we call it amino acid. How did it happen? And then how did it come to start moving? Then you look at the conditions which was created for a movement of a cell. Very simple. And then you see how creation is. Then you can create human body anywhere in the universe. Then you can do what we do, like a growth of a toe or allowing lungs to repair. There is no miracle. There is no crookedness. There is no, what do you call it? Harji-barji. Understanding the process, repeating your reactors, you create a condition and you achieve it.